Well, I mean, we're going to be paying for them. I think that's the biggest point at home. It's American importers. This is not China or other importers in nations that are paying for these tariffs. Exporter nations, I should say. It's us back home in the United States. So are we going to be paying more? Roughly the same, because as you said, these tariffs are replacing the emergency tariffs that the president put in place after the Supreme Court shut down his biggest tariff tool in his toolkit. So what exactly is happening here? These are tariffs between 10 and 12.5% that are replacing those 10% emergency tariffs that were put in place a couple of months ago. And you'll hear in the headlines as these tariffs become reality that they are trying to safeguard against the importation of products that were made with forced labor. But when we're talking about trade partners like Japan, South Korea, Australia that are being hit with these tariffs, you know, you might be thinking, well, Australia doesn't use forced labor. South Korea doesn't use forced labor. What's going on here? The rationale from the trade representative and people who are working on this in Washington is that these nations, from their point of view, do not have protections strong enough, like American protections, to safeguard against products made by forced labor entering their country. So the rationale is if you have country X that's allowing a product made with forced labor into their market, that harms American producers because the price of product X is coming way down. It's made with forced labor. So that's harming American producers because they have to compete with these products that are made with forced labor that are being sold at very low prices. That's the justification that the United States is weighing. Not everybody's buying it, though. The Australian Trade Minister is saying in Adelaide this morning the imposition of higher tariffs on Australia completely unjustified, Alex, and we will continue to lobby the United States Trade Representative to remove all tariffs on Australian goods.
So, Mike, you're in China. We know the last time there was the real back and forth, some of the highest tariffs went to China. Does all this, what's happening right now, does this impact President Xi Jinping's September trip to the United States?
You know, it seems as though all systems are go, but the question we're working on this afternoon, and we're going to be asking at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs up the street later this afternoon, is does China retaliate, Alex? And the consensus seems to be no retaliation now, but there could be a new tranche of tariffs leveled at China between now and that September visit that Xi Jinping is expected to make in Washington about quote-unquote illegal dumping, about China sending all of these electric vehicles into markets around the world and other products, and the United States saying that's not fair, that harms businesses around the world. So if we have this today, the tariffs that are replacing the old tariffs, and we have new tariffs, we could see China retaliate. That is the open question, and whether or not that affects the trip, the mood of the trip, that's an open question, but it still seems from our contacts here that this trip is going forward, and they're trying to smooth things over. We are expecting bumps in the road, but in terms of keeping that truce, both sides need to keep the trade truce.
Mike Valerio starting us off with that breaking news in Beijing and showcasing CNN merch in the process. Nice mug. Thanks so much, Mike. Appreciate you.